Jason's back. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Enjoy. And thank you, Mr. Creepshow09. Alright, I approve this message. Watch the review. Thanks. Friday the 13th, Part 7. The New Blood. Once again, this is a movie that I can't really say anything bad about. And for once, there was somebody out there that was just as tough as Jason. I love that about this movie. Love it. Jason has finally met his match. Finally. So the movie opens up with the narrator doing a cheesy voiceover about Jason's stack of bodies that he has built up over the years, and how Jason is a legend and nobody can stop him, and how there's a curse on Crystal Lake, a death curse, a Jason Voorhees curse. Okay. If you ask me, they're really pouring it on thick with the whole Jason thing. It's really not that serious. Anyway, so the movie opens up and we see young Tina Bishop. I think that's her name. No, not Tina Bishop. What was it? Shepard. That was her name. Tina Shepard. And she's played by somebody named Lincoln Park, I think her name was. I'm not really sure. I can't really remember what her name was. But basically, she comes from an abusive home. And, she's saying, please don't hit my mommy. She runs out of the house screaming. And they show us a calendar that shows that it happens to be Friday the 13th. I hate dumb coincidences in horror movies. How is it that her mother was physically abused on Friday the 13th? That's too much of a coincidence. I hate when they overdo it, It's annoying. It annoys the crap out of me. Don't overdo something. Anyway, she runs out of the house screaming. And her mom asks her to come back. The dad says, come back, come back. She tells the dad, I hate you. I wish you would go away. And she causes the house or whatever to collapse on the father, causing him to drown and die. She awakes from what is apparently a nightmare caused by the guilt of knowing that she killed her own father. I guess I can't really blame her. That is pretty bad. Anyway, she's driving up to the the new place where they are supposed to stay. But while we're on the subject of Friday the 13th Part 7, I have a question. Anybody that knows this, feel free to message me. If Megan Garris and Tommy Jarvis buried Jason at a specific location, how come the location looks different in Part 7? It doesn't look anything like the thing we saw on Part 6. Why is that? That makes no sense. I hate stuff like that. I hate it. It looks nothing like what we last saw on Part 6. Long story short, she goes down to the lake and she basically says, Daddy, I wish I could bring you back, but she accidentally brings Jason back. Wow, no surprise there. We couldn't have seen that one coming, even though when you look at the movie, you see the camera show Jason, and you hear that stupid noise, whatever. Anyway, basically, we saw that one coming. So Jason jumps up out of the river or the lake or whatever it is, and she faints. I don't get it. That's a woman's answer for everything. They faint. Anyway, basically, Jason gets up out of the water. He starts stalking the people that are supposed to stay at that cabin and plan a surprise party for Nick's cousin. I think his name is Nick. I don't know. Anyway, the cousin, whose name happens to be Michael, he never arrives at the party because Jason kills him. Once again, no surprise there. I pretty much saw it coming. You know, I wasn't angry at first, but now I'm beginning to notice that these sequels are filled with things that are put there in what I call accidentally on purpose. How is it that the father hit the mother on Friday the 13th? That's too much of a coincidence. That would be like if Stephen Lloyd was caught shoplifting on Halloween. Why? Why exactly on Friday the 13th? Exactly on that day, though? Exactly on that day? Are you serious? Oh, man. Anyway, like I said, Jason's killing people. It's not really much to tell. The psychiatrist or psychologist doesn't really believe Tina, but he wants to exploit her powers. Well, once again, I can't really say I blame this guy, although that is wrong. Like I said, there's not much to tell. There's not much of a story in the Friday the 13th series. Jason's just killing a bunch of people, and he gets all the way down to the very last one, named Nick. Tina fights him with her powers. And I mean, she's doing all kinds of things to Jason. She's electrocuting him. She's dropping things on him, strangling him with wires, lighting him on fire. All kinds of things are being done to Jason. The next thing you know, like I said, Jason's about to be set on fire. He loses his hockey mask. I really didn't like that part when they had that happen. Tina sets him on fire. And basically, of course, he's not dead. He gets up and he tries to pull one of them down in the water with him. And what do you know? Her father jumps up and pulls Jason into the lake. Last time the Michael Myers fanatic checked, he discovered that telekinesis doesn't bring people back from the dead. I don't know where they got that part from. Anyway, if the father was in the lake, why wasn't he in the lake on not part 7, but part 8? That's just something to think about. He wasn't there. Anyway, Nick and Tina drive off into the sunset, happily ever after. Nick wakes up and he says, "Where's Jason?" And I think Tina says, "We took care of him," or something like that. And the firemen, see, this is so stupid. This is what I'm talking about. Another accident on purpose. The fireman just happens to accidentally discover pieces of the hockey mask, and the camera zooms in on it. How is it that he discovers that? I hate when they overdo things. They're really overdoing the whole Jason thing. It's not that serious. Anyway, the ambulance drives off, and once again, we get treated to that horrible theme song, and the movie goes off. I still don't get it. If the father was in the lake, why wasn't he in the lake on part 8? That made no sense. I'm the Michael Myers fanatic. I approve this message. This has been Friday the 13th, part 7, The New Blood. There were no hot chicks in this movie. The only thing I liked about this movie was that Jason finally met his match. Thank you very much for listening. Once again, I approve this message.